afternoon. You are with me, Patrick Pupa. Pope Leo XIV has released his message for the 34th World Day of the Sick, inviting the faithful to consider the Samaritan's compassion and how we too can offer love by bearing the pain of others. The compassion of the Samaritan, loving by bearing another's pain, is the theme of Pope Leo's message for this year's commemoration, which will be held on 11 February 2026. In his message, signed 13 January and released on Tuesday, the Holy Father has encouraged renewed reflection on the future of Good Samaritan ahead of the day. The Malawi Energy Regulatory Authority (MERA) has implemented a 4% increase in fuel prices. In a statement signed by board chairperson Lucas Kondowe, MERA says the landed costs of both petrol and diesel have exceeded the 5% inception, convincing the authority to adjust fuel prices upwards. Kondowe explained that the hike follows MERA's decision to return to a more realistic fuel pricing framework, which eliminates artificial price controls, an approach he says has been in recent years negatively impacted government fuel procurement and supply. As of today, petrol is now selling at 4,965 per litre, while diesel is selling at 4,945 per litre. Still on the same, the Human Rights Defenders Coalition (HRDC) has warned that the recent fuel price hike following government's return to the automatic fuel pricing mechanisms could worsen the cost of living crisis for many Malawians. In a statement released today, HRDC said while it appreciates efforts to stabilize the fuel supply, the decision raises serious economic and human rights concerns. The rights body said fuel prices increases have a ripple effect on transport, food prices, and basic services, pushing low-income households deeper into poverty. The Anti-Corruption Bureau (ACB) has apprehended 2 additional suspects linked to the Greenbelt Authority, Director of Irrigation and Operation Chisomo Kambuyo, and PLMMB Managing Director Stanley Bokolo. In a statement dated 19 January 2026 and signed by Senior Public Relations Officer Jacqueline Ngongonda, the Bureau said the latest arrests raised the total number of suspects to 8. This follows the arrest of others on 17 January 2026 over allegedly irregular payments totaling 36.7 billion, and the ACB also noted that the 3 suspects are still on the run and has called on them to voluntarily present themselves to the Bureau. Minister of Gender, Children, Disability and Social Welfare Marina Vicha has reaffirmed government's commitment to professionalize and increase financing for early childhood development in Malawi. Speaking during ECB Advocacy Community Handover Ceremony, Navicha said ECD is the foundation of human capital development and key to achieving Malawi's 2060-30. She commended ECD Advocacy Task Team Chairperson Rev. Nancy Chunga for his leadership and dedication to the sector. Police in Lilongwe says have arrested the 35-year-old Petro Kalanje for allegedly stealing a cell phone and 25,000 cash after posing as a herbalist in Area 36 Lilongwe. According to Public Relations Officer for Lilongwe Police, Hastings Tigalo, he explained that the suspects tricked the woman into believing he could use herbs to stop her husband from being unfaithful, then disappeared with her phone and money, while she was sent away to complete fake rituals. The suspect was later spotted in the city, apprehended by the well-wishers, and handed over to the police. He has confessed the offense and will soon appear in court as police warn the public to be cautious of strangers who exploit people's beliefs. And finally, in international news, Ugandan military chief Muhoozi said he was praying for fugitive opposition leader Bobi Wine's death and gave him 48 hours to surrender to the police following the contentious presidential election. Former pop star Wine said he fired a military raid on his house hours before veteran President Yoweri Museveni was declared the landslide winner of last week's presidential election. Bobi Wine, who finished runner-up, has allegedly widespread fraud during the vote. He has released several statements since Saturday's from undisclosed. That's the end of our news updates, and this has been Patrick Pupa. Good afternoon.